We often assume the safe path to achieving, a massive, audacious dream is breaking it down into tiny, manageable, maybe even secretly held steps. We're kind of afraid of public failure, right? So
Yeah.
we keep the scope manageable. But what if that caution?
Hmm.
What if it's actually the biggest obstacle to success?
Exactly. What if chasing an epic goal right out loud with just undeniable conviction is the true shortcut?
That is the mission for this deep dive. We are exploring the intense power of bold proclamation, the concrete, measurable value of being accountable to others,
Mm.
and why establishing your inherent worth is just as critical as the idea itself. We're diving into sources that aggressively challenge the whole idea of starting small.
Yeah. And our core takeaway today is, well, it's simple, but really transformative. Success often requires you to announce what you are going to do, stated as a certainty.
Not just what you're hoping for.
Definitely not just hoping, what you will do.
Okay, let's unpack this immediately. Starting with the counterintuitive psychology of ambition. You're suggesting that keeping the goal not just big, but also bright and loud, we'll call it epics, isn't just motivational fluff, it's genuinely strategic.
That's right.
How can pursuing something massive actually be easier than pursuing something small? It feels wrong.
It sounds illogical, yeah, but it's entirely strategic because massive goals force a different mode of thinking. Our sources suggest that boldness is the catalyst.
Okay.
That big, bright, loud energy creates the kind of momentum that, well, it just can't be generated by quiet little steps. Think about the difference between complexity and simplicity. If your goal is small and basic, say you decide, I don't know, write one blog post, the questions you ask yourself are pretty basic too, right?
Like, is this topic okay? Do I need an outline? Yeah, simple stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can easily talk yourself out of the effort or just settle for, good enough. But basic goals kind of permit mental laziness.
So if the goal requires little effort, the system you build around it, well, it also requires little effort. And that lack of system leads to stagnation. Makes sense.
Precisely. Contrast that with the complex questions demanded by an epic goal.
Hmm.
If your goal is selling, say, 1,000 copies of your book, you might ask, okay, how do I market this? Pretty standard.
Mm-hmm.
But if your goal is 10 times that 10,000 copies, your question has to become complex. That has to be strategic. What unique, undeniable value does my book bring? How do I build a platform that perpetually attracts people who need exactly that value?
Okay. You need the big dream to force the system's thinking, the kind needed to solve the really complex problems.
You got it.
But wait, doesn't making the dream so publicly big also increase the risk?
Mm.
The risk of public spectacular failure. For many people, that threat of embarrassment is just completely paralyzing.
And that is precisely where the credibility factor comes into play.
Yeah.
That's why proclamation is such a useful tool against that fear.
How?
Proclaiming a goal puts you on the hook, as one source put it, with external stakeholders, your friends, your family, your audience. Most of us are deeply motivated by wanting to be seen as credible people, people who deliver on their word.
Right. You want to be seen as someone who follows through.
Exactly. So by announcing your intention with certainty, you generate social pressure. And you leverage that pressure to create internal momentum. It's a bit of a psychological hack, really.
A hack. I like that.
It is. But there's a crucial distinction here. Otherwise, the workload just becomes crushing. You don't chip away at the dream itself. Keep that vision, the epic goal, absolutely big.
Don't water it down.
Never water down the dream. Instead, you make the steps, the day-to-day actions towards achieving the dream, smaller and more manageable. Keep the fuel, manage the roadmap.
That's a fantastic framework. So, okay, if the psychology demands this huge publicly stated goal, how does the science confirm we actually stay on track, once the initial enthusiasm maybe fades a bit?
Yeah, good question.
Let's move from the psychological stuff to the empirical evidence. Dr. Gail Matthews' study, right?
This is the definitive evidence, I think, on commitment and accountability. Dr. Matthews' 2015 goal achievement study from Dominican University, really solid stuff.
The study's structure is brilliant because it isolates these different mechanisms of commitment. They tracked, 267 participants?
Yep, 267 started, 149 completed the whole thing. They were split into 5 randomized groups, each testing a different technique.
Okay, so group 1 just had an unwritten goal, like in their head.
Right. Group 2 actually wrote the goal down.
Group 3 wrote it down and formulated specific action commitments, getting more concrete.
Then it gets social. Group 4 took their written goal and action commitments and shared them with a supportive friend. They just announced it.
Just told someone. Okay. And group 5, the group that took accountability the furthest.
They took their written goal, their action commitments, and critically sent weekly progress reports to that supportive friend. They weren't just sharing the goal, they were sharing the journey, week by week.
Okay, and the results.
The difference is really striking. Group 1, the unwritten goal folks, only 43% of them got at least halfway or more to completion. Pretty low baseline.
Yeah, less than half.
Now, Group 4, who just shared their commitments with a friend, that jumped to 62% either halfway or fully accomplished. Just announcing it makes a huge difference.
Wow, okay. That's already significant, but the gold standard.
Group 5, the weekly progress report group, they reached 76% goal accomplishment, or being at least halfway there.
76%. That is a massive 33 percentage point advantage over just keeping the goal a secret in your head.
Huge. The conclusion Dr. Matthews drew was pretty clear. Accountability, commitment, writing goals down, these are empirically proven coaching tools. But the key nugget of insight for me is why Group 5 did so much better than Group 4.
It wasn't just announcing it.
No, it was the weekly report, that regular check-in.
Why does that weekly report make such a difference, do you think? Is it just the fear of having to admit, I didn't do much this week?
It's probably more powerful than just fear, though that might play a small part. The weekly check-in forces structured reflection. It compels you to ask yourself, what did I actually do last week? Did it work? Do I need to adjust my course?
Okay.
It shifts the process from just passive intention, like I hope this works out, to active course correction. You just can't drift for long when you know you have to report back on Friday.
That makes total sense. It keeps you engaged. Okay, so once you're committed, you're reporting back. The next challenge is making sure you maintain the value of the thing you're building, right?
Absolutely.
This brings us to that crucial concept you mentioned, Ferrari ideas, not go-kart prices.
Yeah, this is all about believing in and, importantly, maintaining your value proposition against external pressure. Or even internal pressure sometimes.
Like self-doubt.
Exactly. If you set an EBIT goal, say you need $1 million in funding, and then you agree to settle for $500,000 because it feels safer, or maybe it's the first offer.
Or you plan for that small 200-seat theater when you know your message deserves a 1,000-seat auditorium.
You ensure you never achieve the larger goal. It's almost like you're programming the outcome.
It becomes a self-limiting prophecy.
Wow.
Well, you can only reach the goals you actually set, but if you set a lower target out of fear or maybe convenience, you automatically cap your potential.
You do. And our sources show that the perception of others heavily influences that worth, often regardless of the intrinsic quality of the product or the idea itself.
Which is why packaging your vision to match its true value is, as you said, non-negotiable.
Totally. It's key.
The brownie experiment is the classic example of this, isn't it? Can you walk us through the details, how presentation literally changes perceived value?
Sure. This was done in a university cafeteria. They served 175 participants identical, pretty average chocolate brownie. The only thing they varied was the packaging.
Okay.
One group got the brownie on a nice china plate, another on a standard paper plate, and the third group just got it on a paper napkin.
Same brownie, different presentation.
Identical brownie. But the perception changed everything. The napkin group, they rated it as, okay, average cafeteria fare, and said they'd pay about 53 cents.
Average price for average fare.
Makes sense. The paper plate group was a bit better, willing to pay 76 cents. But the china plate consumers, they rated the same brownie as excellent.
Excellent. Just because of the plate?
Yep. They even spontaneously commented on overall cafeteria improvements, which hadn't happened, and they were willing to pay $1.27 on average.
Wow, more than double the price, but the exact same food. It wasn't the brownie quality that changed.
It was the quality of the vessel, the presentation. And this connects directly back to your epic goal. When you proclaim your ambition, when you announce your massive vision with real conviction, you are essentially putting your idea on that china plate.
You're elevating the perceived value before the customer or the investor has even tasted it, so to speak.
Exactly. Presentation signals value.
And this power of bold proclamation, the sheer audacity sometimes to put the goal on like a $9 billion china plate. That's why the story of Theranos is such a remarkable case study.
It really is. It's the ultimate proof, maybe, of the power of conviction, but also a warning.
Let's break it down. Elizabeth Holmes, she was what, 19? A college dropout, no real expertise in the field.
None. She founded Theranos based purely on a bold proclamation, revolutionary blood testing from a single tiny pinprick. And just based on her passion, her vision, her conviction, she raised nearly $700 million.
$700 million. And reached a $9 billion peak valuation.
It's staggering. And look who she attracted. massive, savvy investors, people like Larry Ellison, Rupert Murdoch.
Mm.
Her board included diplomatic heavyweights like Henry Kissinger, military leaders like James Mattis.
Titans of industry and government, these aren't easily fooled people.
Normally, no. But they invested not because the tech was proven it wasn't. They invested because they believed in her. They bought into her conviction, her certainty. That's the inspirational proof. Passion and bold proclamation have astronomical value.
Her sheer enthusiasm and presentation, her China plate, convinced some of the world's most powerful people.
It did. But, and this is the crucial balance, while that enthusiasm can absolutely sell the dream, you must have the goods to back up your claims to maintain integrity.
Right. Theranos illustrates the ceiling of conviction without capability. Or maybe the danger.
Precisely. You have to ensure that the conviction you project actually matches the infrastructure you are building, the reality you're creating to deliver on the promise.
Okay, so we understand the value of boldness, accountability, presenting value. How do we operationalize this? What's the first step?
Urgency. That's
Yeah.
the first step. If you have an epic goal simmering, you really cannot wait for the fear and uncertainty to magically disappear, because they won't.
No, time passes regardless, doesn't it? The material reminds us life is a participatory sport. You can't achieve your epic goal from the sidelines just thinking about it.
You really can't. And remember that maxim, later is always in front of you, but it never comes.
Oof. Yeah, that hits home.
The longer you delay, the bigger and more imposing the task seems in your mind. So to combat that inertia, you must be clear, crystal clear.
Yep, clarity. Okay, to boldly proclaim your epic goal, you need to be able to articulate it instantly and powerfully.
Absolutely. We've all seen companies, maybe even known people, who take 10 minutes to explain what they do, and you're still left scratching your head.
Yeah, totally unclear. That lack of clarity is fatal.
Clarity is king. The requirement is basically an elevator pitch. It needs to be clear, concise, like maybe a minute long, interesting, and emotionally engaging. You have to tell a story that people immediately connect with and, crucially, believe in.
Let's use the pitch structure from our sources. Give the listener a practical example. Start with the problem, move to the solution, end with a call to action.
Okay, good idea. So, problem identification. You know how people can sometimes be their own biggest dream killers? They feel overwhelmed, thinking things like, I don't know where to start, or maybe it's too late for me.
Connects immediately. Yeah.
Then the solution. What I do is provide a clear, accountable roadmap that helps people reclaim those hopes and dreams and actually deliver on their greatest potential.
Nice. And the call to action.
Simple, direct. All you need to do is start today.
That works. It immediately connects, states the value of the China plate, and gives a clear next step. Okay, one final piece. Let's make sure we're aiming high enough by defining the hierarchy of ambition. Intention, goal, and dream. These aren't the same thing.
That's right. They're different levels. The intention is sort of the abstract desire, like, I intend to grow my audience. It lacks specifics, lacks urgency.
Fuzzy, okay. The goal is specific and measurable. This is the roadmap, the actual objective steps you're accountable for. Like, by Q4, I will sell out auditoriums of at least 1,000 seats in 3 major cities. Very analytical, very clear.
Exactly. And finally, the dream. This is the big, bold fuel. This includes your specific goals and intentions, sure, but it layers on that exhilarating emotional vision, the massive reach, the impact on millions, maybe the recognition, the private jets, the whole 9 yards, whatever excites you.
You keep that dream big because that's the emotional fuel. That's what powers you through the tough, complex work needed to hit the goal.
Precisely. Don't shrink the dream.
Okay, let's zoom out. If we distill this deep dive, what are the essential components you need to walk away with today?
4 key things, I think. First, proclaim your intentions enthusiastically. Build that credibility, create that external pressure.
Second, keep the core dream big. Don't water it down out of fear. Only scale the steps, not the vision.
Third, know your value proposition. Your ideas are Ferrari quality, so package them that way. China plate, not paper napkin.
And fourth, articulate a clear, concise message, your elevator pitch, so you're always ready to sell that goal with real conviction.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought to leave with you. We saw with Theranos that raw passion and bold proclamation can raise $700 million even when the tech isn't quite there yet.
Yeah.
So this raises an important question for you as you set your own AP goal.
Yeah.
How much of your success really hinges purely on your confident China plate delivery? And maybe more importantly, how will you ensure that your powerful conviction is genuinely matched by the capability, the substance, and the integrity you're building behind the scenes?
Something to definitely chew on as you craft your next big move.